Wow. Spoiler alert, we are going to talk about deadlifting in this video. Welcome back, Cocoa Puffs. My name is Kola. I am a certified personal trainer and nutritionist, and you are watching Koboko Fitness. Today we're going to be talking about 10 exercises that everyone should have in their programs. This is of course assuming that you don't have any physical limitations that will prevent you from doing them. If you are otherwise healthy and you want to be getting the best results from your workout program, then yes, these are exercises you definitely need to be doing. We're going to use your body as a map today and go over all the main muscle groups. Hit subscribe and let's get started. Okay, the first exercise that everyone should definitely have in their workout program is the squat, and not just any kind of squat. I'm talking the wide stance squat. And I know what you're thinking. As soon as you hear the squat or a wide stance squat, you're thinking, yeah, I already know. But did you know that the wide stance squat is one of the best squats you can do if you have poor glute activation? Poor glute activation just means that you never feel your booty exercises in your butt. You feel it in your thighs, your arms, your belly, your back, your brain, your soul, your future, your past, but you don't feel it in your actual glute muscles, your actual butt muscles. That's poor glute activation. Doing wide stance squats is excellent for this because of the foot positioning that you're going to see later on in this video when I'm demoing the wide stance squat for you. That foot position allows for greater muscle recruitment, and it just makes a world of difference compared to when you're doing a more traditional squat where your stance is more narrow. Some people will say that, well, a traditional closed squat or squat with your legs closer together is more functional, meaning it's more like the type of squat that you would do in everyday life. And that is true, and that's a very important reason to continue to do that kind of squat. However, when the goal is growth and or strength, you cannot sleep on the wide stance squat. You gotta do the wide stance squat. Also, for people that suffer from slow booty growth, where you've been doing your workouts, you've been eating right, you've been doing everything, and you're not seeing the results that your heart desires, the wide stance squat is another way to get you closer to your goal a little bit quicker. And the reason is what I just said. It recruits more muscle groups. Something else that the wide stance squat does for us is that it helps those of us that have knee problems bypass that problem. Now, I'm not saying to never address your knee problems. Please see a physical therapist so you can get on a proper healing protocol to get your knees nice and strong so you can live a pain-free life. But in the meantime, the wide stance squat is a way to still enjoy all the amazing benefits of doing a squat without the pain. So if you're the kind of person that tends to have pain behind your kneecap, your knee crackles and crunches when you're doing a normal squat, if you have flat feet, which is about 30% of people, if you're the kind of person where your knees hurt when you go up the stairs from kneeling, jumping, running, that kind of stuff, or if your knees tend to ache when you sit for a long time, these are all signs that your knees need attention. There are a lot of knee strengthening exercises you can do. In fact, I have a video on my channel with knee strengthening exercises, but it's no alternative for actually seeing a physical therapist. So make sure you do that, or at least do some of those exercises in my knee strengthening exercise video, and do a wide stance squat. So if you have all of these issues that I've mentioned so far, whenever you see a regular squat, if you feel you can't do it, a wide stance squat might be a better alternative for you to do. Something else that this can really help with is for people that have a very weak butt, and you can usually tell that someone's butt is weak, that their glute muscles are weak just by visual inspection. Now, obviously, I'm not saying to go around judging other people's butts. Judge your own. We all do that, right? We all look in the mirror and like, look, is that just me that does that? No? Okay, yeah. Another way is just by how the body feels. For some people, they have back pain. That's a nice red flag there that the glute muscles might be weak. Sometimes even knee pain is connected to weak glute muscles. That's the beauty of the body. Everything is connected. All the muscles influence each other in one way or another. So the question is, how do you do a wide stance squat and do it correctly? First, you want to be standing with your stance at about 140 to 150% of shoulder width. That's That's just a fancy way of saying you want your feet to be wider than your shoulders. Generally speaking, your toes will be pointed slightly out. Your torso is going to be nice and up as much as you can. So you don't want to like hunch over your shoulders or put your chest out. You just want a nice, elegant ballerina type torso as best you can. Suck your stomach in. This is to protect your spine, especially if you're going to add weights, which you don't need to. For the most part, just body weight wide stance squats are amazing. I still do them. I love doing this so much. So suck your belly in to protect your spine. You know you're doing it right when your stomach is very firm and clenched, as if you're bracing your stomach for someone to punch you straight in the gut. That's how you want to tense your stomach muscles, and just go down as low as you can. And when you're coming back up, squeeze your glute muscles and use that force to stand back up. You have to try it to really get what I'm saying. When you're doing wide stance squats, you get way more glute activation. It's easier to go deeper, because this is one of the problems with normal squats for most people. For most people, when they try to go really deep into that normal squat, all sorts of issues come up, like ankle mobility. A lot of us have very stiff ankles, stiff calf muscles. All of that can be addressed through stretching, and doing wide stance squats can help us to still enjoy the benefits of squats while we work through all these issues. Your wide stance squat is bae. So if you're doing any of my workouts and you see a traditional squat and you feel like you can't do it for whatever reason, consider substituting a wide stance squat instead and see if that feels better for your body. So if you're ready to try out my premium workout programs, go on my website, KobokoFitness.com. I offer a 10-day free trial. You can try out all my premium workouts for free and just see if it's right for you. If you're not ready for that yet, I have lots of videos on my YouTube channel that will help you as well. You can try this particular workout if you have knee issues and you're looking for knee strengthening exercises, or you can try this particular workout that has a wide stance squat in it, so you can do it as part of a nice professionally made workout and you can see the difference in how it feels in your body. Let's talk about deadlifts, and I'm not talking about the kind of deadlifts that lady was doing earlier on in the video. We're not deadlifting 450 pounds around here. You and I, we are regular folk with regular lives, just trying to be fit and healthy. We're not Olympians. We're not even necessarily trying to compete for anything. We're just trying to pay our bills and be okay. So let's talk about deadlifts. Everyone should be doing deadlifts, especially people that struggle with trying to be toned and it's just not working. The reason for this is that deadlifts really work the hamstring muscles, and that's a muscle group that you definitely want to work if you're having trouble with getting toned. It's one of the biggest muscle groups in your body. You can't just afford to skip it if you're trying to have a toned physique and a toned appearance. Related to that, if you're the kind of person that has a lot of fat gathering in the back of your thighs, working those hamstring muscles is also a good way to like tighten the appearance of that area. If you're the kind of person that has a very high body fat percentage, doing deadlifts is your friend. Or if you're just the kind of person where your metabolism is on the slower side, again, doing deadlifts is your friend. And just to clarify what metabolism is just the body burning fuel. Burning fuel so that your organs, your heart, lungs, everything can function, so that your body can move and you can do everything that you need to do, so your brain can work. That's what metabolism is, just the body burning fuel for energy. So the way deadlifts will help you to improve a slow metabolism is simply by building, growing, strengthening, toning your hamstring muscles so that you have more muscle in the back of your thigh, denser muscle in the back of your thigh, stronger muscle in the back of your thigh that is burning calories even while you're resting. This is why for some people that are already in shape, it's easier for them to stay in shape. Let me use men as an example. This is why you might see that some men may not struggle as much as some women when it comes to burning fat. It's simply because they just tend to on average have more muscle on their body, and muscle is very calorie expensive. Muscle burns up a lot of energy. In general, the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn while resting. You may never have heard anyone say that you can deadlift with body weight, but you absolutely can. And in fact, I recommend starting from there, especially if you're a beginner or you have taken a long break from exercise, or if deadlifting is not something that you normally do in your workouts. Start with with body weight. One of those reasons is for a lot of people, that muscle in the back of the thigh is very weak. It's not a muscle that we are used to mentally connecting with. A lot of people don't even know what it feels like. And especially if you're not a person that works out intensely, or if you're someone that has taken a long break from exercise, you may not be able to really activate those muscles in the back of your thigh. Starting with body weight is literally the perfect way to retrain your body to connect with the muscles in the back of your thigh. So when you do start adding weight to your deadlifts, you're able to do it correctly and avoid injury in the process. We like to avoid injury. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making is jumping straight into using dumbbells or some kind of external resistance or even machines at the gym without knowing how to do the movement correctly with body weight. Adding in those weights without knowing how to do it correctly with body weights is a huge mistake and a waste of time and just puts people at risk for injury for no reason. So as with every other exercise, we're going to start with body weight. And now for how to deadlift correctly. Don't be intimidated by these people deadlifting 1 million pounds. It's not necessary. When they do stuff like that, it's just for fun. It's just for entertainment. It's not supposed to be part of a regular person's normal workout routine. All you have to do is have a slight bend in your knee. Find the positioning for your feet that feels good to you. I love a wide stance, even for my deadlifts. So experiment with your leg positioning. Find the positioning that feels good to your body. Keep a soft bend in your knee. It doesn't have to be anything exaggerated. It's not a squat. You want your back nice and flat. You don't want your chest puffed out. You don't want your shoulders rolling over. If you're bigger chested, a good sports bra is your friend. And all you do is you just bow. That's it. And then you come back up. While you're doing that, try to contract the muscle in the back of your thigh. You may not feel it at first, but if you keep practicing, after about 10 reps, you should start to feel it. If you're not feeling it by 10 reps, relax. Do it again for another 10 reps. Not feeling it? Stop. Try again tomorrow. You will get it. It takes some time if you've never felt this muscle group before. Something else you can do is you can just put a finger on the back of your thigh as you're doing it to try to feel that muscle. And that sometimes helps people to make that mental connection to the muscle so that they can make progress a little bit faster. Make sure your feet are flat. You don't want your toes curling up, saying hallelujah. And once you get the hang of this with body weight, now you can start to do all the fancy stuff and use dumbbells with your deadlifts. Start with whatever feels comfortable to you and then increase from there. Here's where we are so far on the map. We've covered your booty, your thigh. Let's talk about one more thing real quick for your lower body, and that is glute bridges. I have so many videos where I'm gushing about my love for glute bridges, so we're not going to waste time on that in this video. Watch these videos if you want to go into more depth on glute bridges. Just know that this exercise is one that everyone should have in their program. It's especially good for people that just don't have a lot of time to work out. Everybody can benefit from glute bridges. I just get so excited anytime I talk about glute bridges and how great they are. They're just so good, especially if you don't have access to gym equipment. At the gym, there are all sorts of fancy machines that they use. And guess what? You can get your results in the comfort of your own home if you're doing glute bridges. It's also really great for people that have a hard time targeting their glutes. So even when you're doing something like the wide stance squat, yes, you're targeting your glutes, but there are also a lot of other muscles being worked at the same time. But when you're doing glute bridges, you really are like hyper focusing on the glutes. So if it's something where you really want to focus on this body part, or you have trouble targeting this body part, then glute bridges are clutch 100%. And of course, if your goal is booty growth and your diet is on point, meaning you're in a caloric surplus or maintenance, depending on your goal, this is an exercise that you can afford to not have in your program. The next exercise is the plank, and not just any kind of plank. I'm talking about doing a 7-second plank challenge. We are actually going to do one together in this video. Don't worry, we are in it together, but the plank is definitely an exercise that everybody needs to have in their workout program. Planks are especially important for people that just don't have time to work out. If that's you, the 7-second plank is for you. If you don't have time to work out, do your 7-second plank, and that is your workout for the day. There are variations to this, which we will get to in just a moment. Another group that can really benefit from doing the plank, especially the 7-second plank, is those people that are trying to get an hourglass figure. Now, there are no dreams being sold here. I already did a whole video talking in depth about the hourglass figure, how to get it, if you can get it, and all of that. So make sure you watch that video as well if you're interested in going deeper into that topic. And I also have taught you on this channel that if you do not naturally have an hourglass figure genetically from birth, which is over 90% of us, then the most effective exercise to try to cinch in that waist a little bit is the stomach vacuum. Now, right next to the stomach vacuum, not as effective as the vacuum, but also in that category of exercises is the plank, because the plank works your transverse abdominis muscles, the TVA, and that's the muscle you're really working when you're doing stomach vacuums. So a plank is no replacement for a stomach vacuum, but if you want your stomach vacuums to be more powerful, easier, and more effective, then planks are kind of definitely totally required to do there. So while everybody should be doing planks, people that don't have time to work out or people that are trying to really get that hourglass figure definitely should be doing planks, and start with the 7-second plank challenge. Don't go crazy trying to do 45-second planks right off the bat. So how do you do your plank correctly? First, you want to have a straight line from your head to your heel. You don't want your butt to be going up or down in the air, just stable, unless you're doing a bouncing plank, which is a totally different thing from what we're talking about here. You want to also avoid having tension in your arms and neck. I've noticed that for some people when they're doing planks, they hold a lot of stress and tension. Like some people's faces turn red when they're doing planks. We don't need that. Calm it. 7 seconds. That's all we're doing. So we want that neck to be relaxed. I know it's crazy. I'm talking about exercise and relaxation at the same time. Trust me, it can be done. Look down at the mat. I know when we're doing these workouts, it's very tempting to be looking at the screen to see if the timer is done. It's 7 seconds. So just look down and then pick your poison. Which kind of planking are you going to do? There are 4 different types I'm going to recommend if you're doing the 7-second plank challenge. And the first is the knee on the floor plank. This is a great beginner plank to do, especially if you're doing planks for the first time. This is a great beginner plank. If you are just looking for something that's entry level that you can start with, knee on the floor. Awesome. Hold that for 7 seconds. If you want something slightly more challenging, take your knees off the floor and go into a full plank. That's slightly more challenging. Just 7 seconds of that. If you want to kick it up a notch, then you want to do an elbow plank. So take your elbows to the mat, hold it for 7 seconds. And if you're really at the genius level, then you might want to try out a side plank, and you want to do 7 seconds on each side. I've recommended these to you in order of difficulty. Some people find the elbow plank easier than the full plank. I personally find the elbow plank more difficult than the full plank, so those are interchangeable. If you really want to go hard, you can actually do all these planks in order, but you don't have to. Just pick one, and that's your 7-second plank challenge. Do it with me right now. Here's where we are so far on the map. We've covered your entire body thanks to the plank, but planks are ab and core heavy. So there are still a few more exercises that we all should be doing in our workout program. Let's talk about walking, jogging, and running. Everyone should have at least one of these 3 exercises in their workout program. Doesn't matter what the goal is. Of course, the amount of these exercises will vary based on goal, but regardless of the goal, there has to be some level of walking, jogging, or running in a comprehensive, good program. This is especially important for those of us that are in a constant state of overwhelm. When that mental health is fragile, there's nothing like a good jog, a nice long walk, or a run to feel better. And this is something that is sometimes overlooked when we're talking about exercise. Sometimes we can make it sound like exercise is all about aesthetics, forgetting that exercise is so powerful just for feeling better, just for having good mental health. So don't miss this. There's no point doing all these squats, glute bridges, burpees, all these things, and the whole time feeling so awful. So do something that makes you feel good. For most people, one of these 3 things is a game changer for mental health. It's also very, very good for people that tend to be out of breath after doing simple things like walking up the stairs or running after a small child for just 5 seconds or taking the trash outside or just standing up too fast from a chair. If that's the situation, then I can definitely tell you that walking, jogging, or running is something that's really great to do just to improve overall quality of life. And also keep in mind that there might be some underlying health issues there. So also talk with a doctor just to make sure that everything is good before doing anything new or anything strenuous. But if you got to start somewhere, one of these 3 things is a great place to start. Walking, jogging, or running is also important for people that have digestive issues, because sometimes those digestive issues are caused by stress. And walking, jogging, and running are very excellent stress relievers for the body. So it's not going to cure cure digestive issues. You still need to see a doctor to figure out the proper treatment for those issues. But doing one of these 3 activities can help reduce stress, which in turn can help calm some digestive issues. Again, I need to emphasize that this is not going to cure the issue. It's just going to mask the symptoms. And you know, in Western medicine, we love to mask a symptom, don't we? But on a more serious note though, it's not going to cure the underlying issue. If you're a Double Diamond member on my website, I shared on my podcast, my private podcast, that I was having some digestive issues. I need to provide an update on that. So do this indoors if you live in a place with extreme weather conditions. Maybe you get a lot of snow or it's too hot. Or save up for an inexpensive treadmill. Guilt trip somebody into buying you a treadmill as a gift. I try to do it outdoors as much as I can, but that's not always realistic. So if it's not realistic to do it outdoors, do it indoors. Or whenever you see jogging in place in my workouts, don't skip it. Usually you would see jogging in place in the beginning of the workouts as a warm up, but occasionally, especially in the cardio workouts, you might see jogging in place as a core part of the workout. So when you see that, get excited because you know that I am thinking about your mental well-being, I'm thinking about your heart health, and I am making awesome workouts for you that just take away all your worries and you don't have to think about anything. You just show up, do the workout, and feel amazing afterwards. So now we have covered all of the muscle groups in the body and your head, your heart, and even your gut, your intestines, your stomach. We've covered it all, but we need to talk about tricep dips because we haven't really talked about focusing on the arms, especially the back of the arms. Everybody can benefit from strengthening their arms because who doesn't have to carry grocery bags once in a while? Stronger arms are very, very sexy. Who doesn't like to look fabulous in their bikini and feel amazing? But if you're struggling with jiggly arms, bingo wings, whatever you want to call it, tricep dips are your friend. Tricep dips are amazing for strengthening the upper body, amazing for toning the arms, amazing just when you're trying to get into giving your upper body some love, because I know we can have a tendency to just ignore the upper body like it's not there. If you're just trying to find a way to slip in some cohesiveness into your workout program, tricep dips are the exercise for you. I love tricep dips. You can do them all sorts of ways. You can do them on the floor. You could do them using a chair or any raised surface. It's really good. So remember, this is for the back of the arms. So this is the muscle that's going to be doing the majority of the work. If you're doing this on the floor, you want to try to push your hips back towards your arms, not forward towards your heels. You want your chest nice and straight, knees bent. You're going to go down slowly and come back up. Go down slowly, come back up. Don't sink your shoulders, don't hunch your back. You want your back to be nice, as straight as you can keep it, nice and elegant. Keep your face looking forward. Don't swing your hips or anything. All the movement is in the back of your arms. You shouldn't feel pain in your elbows. If you're feeling pain in your elbows, that's a sign that something is not quite right. Either this is too intense for you, the form isn't quite right, so look at the video and kind of do it the way I'm doing it, or it's possible that maybe you didn't warm up. So unlike the plank that we could do cold turkey in the middle of this video, this is not the kind of exercise to do on a cold body. You want to make sure that you are warmed up. So there should be no pain in the elbows. In general, you shouldn't feel pain in your body when you're exercising. You should feel exertion. You might feel some aching. You might feel soreness, but actual physical jabbing pain, no, that's not something that should be happening during exercise. Let's talk about knee pull-ins because this is truly an exercise that is a game changer for the abs. I'm going to tell you though that if you've been doing a lot of lower body exercises, you may struggle at first because you may feel this in your legs instead of feeling it in your abs. If that's happening, you want to make sure that your legs are already tired before you do this. So keep that in mind. Now, this exercise is for everybody. Everybody can benefit from doing knee pull-ins, especially if you're working on your abs. You want to see more tone, more definition. If you're trying to work on that lower belly area, this is an exercise that's really, really good for that as well. For people that don't have any ab definition and are trying to get ab definition without being bulky in the ab area, which is something that can happen when people use really heavy weights at the gym to train their abs. This is a great exercise for training the abs. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using heavy weights at the gym to train abs. There's nothing wrong with that at all. However, doing that a lot for a long time can lead to bulkier abs. And if that's the look you're going for, that's fine. But if you're going for a different look, that's not the the traditional bulky six-pack ab look, then doing knee pull-ins is very, very effective. So how do you do knee pull-ins? You're gonna lay down on your back. You want your lower back to be on your mat. This is very important to support your lower back on your mat. You can do this on your own if you have really good strength, but if you're like me and you don't have a ton of strength, you can cheat a little bit. Put your hand under your booty so that your lower back is making contact with the mat and it's not moving, and then you bring your knee in towards your chest and then extend your leg out. The secret here is your feet don't touch the mat. They stay in the air the whole time. Extend them out, bring them back in. Extend them out, bring them back in. If you need to put your leg down a little bit, you can, but this is the essence of the knee pull-in, and this exercise is glorious. I've already given more than 10 exercises at this point, but I want to give you 3 more exercises that are a little bit more advanced, and those are burpees, pull-ups, and push-ups. Burpees are interesting because they are an exercise that you would tend to see in high intensity interval workouts. They are a more difficult type of exercise. I've shown you many different variations of burpees over the years in my workout videos and in my teaching videos as well. But burpees belong in everybody's workout program because they really do challenge your whole body from head to toe. When you're doing a burpee, you're working everything. You're doing everything. You're getting all the benefits. It's very taxing on the body. If you find that you do burpees and then you feel sick afterwards, then maybe you can skip this one. But for the most part, or actually instead of skipping it, if you feel sick afterwards, then do an easier version of the burpee. There's a variation of the burpee where you go down and you come up without any of the jumping. You're just stepping the whole time. It's almost like getting in bed and standing back up. That's kind of how that variation is. So just step down the variation a little bit, but there is a variation of burpee for almost everyone. It's basically a combo of doing resistance training and cardio at the same time. So when you're doing a burpee, you're burning fat, you're toning your muscles, you're strengthening your heart, you're doing it all at the same time, which makes it a very efficient exercise. You don't need a lot of time to do a burpee. Push-ups. I didn't talk about the chest muscles specifically throughout the video, in part because I know that most of us watching this video are women, and most of us, for better or for worse, we're not too pressed about doing push-ups. That being said, I personally love the idea of push-ups. Notice I didn't say I love push-ups. I just love the idea of them because there was a point in time where I couldn't do them. I couldn't even do one push-up on my knees. So it's more just of a personal love of having this memory of something that I couldn't do at some point and now I can do it. It's a very great confidence builder to be able to have that in your back pocket. Like, at least I can do this. I may not be able to do my winged eyeliner, but I can do a push-up. Amen? Amen. So if you're like me and you couldn't do push-ups in the past, start with your knee push-ups and then challenge yourself to do just 1 full push-up, then 2, then maybe 5. And by doing push-ups, you are working your chest muscles, which is another muscle group that's actually a very big muscle group in the body. And if you can build some muscle there, if you can strengthen the chest muscles, you are increasing your body's ability to burn fat while you rest. In other words, you are improving your metabolism and making it easier for your body to be very efficient at burning fat. Push-ups are generally not going to make your chest look insanely bigger than whatever it already is, so that's not something to worry about. If you're doing fewer than 50 push-ups a week, you don't have to worry about your chest looking different from how you want it to look. And finally, pull-ups. Pull-ups are a very interesting one because this is the only exercise in this whole video that actually requires you to have some type of equipment. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people just don't do it, other than the fact that it's really hard. But if you can master pull-ups, they are amazing because they work your back muscles, which is a muscle group that a lot of us just don't work enough. And I always try to target the back muscles, especially my upper body workouts. But if you can find yourself a pull-up bar and you can get a resistance band to use as an assist to help you pull yourself up, this is an exercise that can be really fun to do. I don't recommend doing pull-ups as an intense part of your program, as in one of those exercises that you must do, but I recommend it as something fun, something that's challenging but fun. So those are 10 plus exercises that everybody should have in their program. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, visit KobokoFitness.com and start your 10-day free trial of my premium workout programs. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye. Wow. That's a muscle group that you definitely want to work if you're having trouble with getting toned. My neighbor has decided to mow their lawn. They have decided to cut grass. Every time I'm filming, they cut grass. It's like, they're like, oh, she's setting up her camera. Let's mow the lawn. Whatever. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to start posting shorter, sweeter videos on Instagram. Check out my website, KobokoFitness.com.